Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti-yoga Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Charine Visheshwara Srimad Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivastava Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome. So, we will continue from this morning's topic. We talk about strength in devotional service. So let's continue with thinking about strength. What about some synonyms? Dedication. Yes, it's on my list. Thank you. I got a long list. There's a lot of synonyms. Determination. Yes, that's the first one on my list. Thank you. Dedication, determination.
Inspiration. Inspiration.
Oh, that's not on my list. But if we think about it, yes, it's definitely connected. Without inspiration, it will be very difficult. Yeah. Taste. Well, now we really explain. We can connect everything in one sense. But I mean, just to think about, strength. Taste may just make you weak if it's the wrong taste. Right? Yes. Mundane taste. If you have too much taste for mundane things, then you become weak in spiritual life. So let's put taste out of the... Okay, then we connect everything. Spiritual sleep, spiritual taste. Right? We had sleep this morning as an enemy. But if we are dreaming about Krishna, as Maharaj said, so then no problem. Can eat for Krishna, sleep for Krishna, even have children for Krishna. So, yes. Conviction, yes. That's my second one. Willpower. Well, what about ladies? All these, there were two, so three. I give you some hint from Bhagavad Gita. Ekeha Kuru Nandana. Single-mindedness. We talk about that. Any other inspiration?
Proper understanding the thing.
That's with conviction. That comes together with conviction.
It's ability to not fail. Ability to not fail.
Ability to not fail? Well, that's like strength, yes. Power is one. It's like similar to strength. Power, strength. Yeah, vigor, vitality, which goes together also with health. If you're not healthy, it's difficult to be strong. Right? You become weak, and sometimes if your health fails in certain ways, practically you cannot function. And you become very weak even to perform spiritual activities. So, yeah, therefore to maintain the body properly, even by enough sleep, it's necessary to become strong even in spiritual life. Okay, so what about weakness? We have both things, not the other side. Some synonyms for weakness.
Laziness?
Yes, lethargy,
lenost,
laziness,
letargie.
definitely.
Selfishness. When one is selfish, he
Well, you can become very strong. Huh? There's many examples in politics of
V
people who
politice hodně sobců je hodně silných.
make America great.
Postavíme Ameriku.
Very strong-willed person. But, you know, that's not the strength we are looking for.
Zbabělost?
Cowardice.
Yes, also, yes. Then we have also irresolution, hesitancy, to be hesitant,
Váhavost.
which means a lack of conviction.
Nedostatek přesvědčení.
Okay, so obviously to be able to make advancement in spiritual life without strength, it's practically not possible.
Že bez síly prakticky není možné dělat pokrok v duchovním životě.
So that was Srila Prabhupada's point in the purports today, and he repeated it many times.
O tom se dneska mnohokrát pojednávalo ve významu Srila Prabhupada.
Do you remember? Because he repeated it several times.
Tam
And
několikrát
if
se
you don't get strength from Krishna, Balaram, Gauravani, what happens? Or what does not happen?
co se stane nebo co se nestane, když nemáme sílu, když nebyla reálně gornitáje.
You remember, no? Yeah, you will not come out of the bondage of material existence.
Nebudeme schopni přednost nepřátelé vymanit se ze zajetí hmotné existence.
Which brings us to maybe one requisite, a necessity. Do we want to get out of material existence? That's a question.
Chceme se vymanit z hmotné existence.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nebo ne?
We may ask, I mean, I heard that, it's a very good question. Do you want to be successful in life?
Chcete být úspěšní v životě?
So probably everybody will say, of course, yes.
Asi každý řekne samozřejmě.
So then the next question is, do you know what success means?
Další otázka, víte, co znamená úspěch?
That depends now, who you ask.
To už je, potom záleží, koho se ptáte.
Now if you ask some serious practitioner, what do you think is success in life?
Tam je někoho, kdo s vážností praktikuje.
Why are you here? Especially why are you now here and not taking or going to the lake and have a swim, which is not bad. It's also,
Teď jste tady a jdete se zaplavat do jezera, což není tak špatné.
or yes, what is not so good, you just hang out somewhere and have some talk about so many other things except for Krishna. Idle talk.
Než někde se věnovat úplně planým hovorům a o všem možném jenom.
It's an option probably many will opt for. Instead of why should I sit here and hear all this stuff, Because I have a good time with a friend talking about so many things.
Možná by si jeden z toho takhle vybral, než být tady a pořád poslouchat tyhle věci, tak se radši pobavím s přítelem o něčem normálním.
So generally we do want to be successful in spiritual life.
Obecně chceme dosáhnout úspěchu v duchovním životě.
Go back to Godhead, no?
Jít zpátky k Bohu.
Don't remain here.
Nezůstávat tady.
Are you sure?
Jste si jistí.
So then, are you willing or ready to do what is necessary to become successful?
Tak jste taky ochotní dělat cokoliv je potřeba, abyste toho úspěchu dosáhli.
That depends what do you mean.
Záleží, co to myslíte.
I'm chanting and taking prasadam, that's probably sufficient, no? That's what I was told when I came. Just chant the holy name and, and then practically that's the main thing. Yeah, some will even a little bit preach like that. The Harinama verse. You only have to chant. You don't have to do really anything else. Now, is that a fact?
Yes.
But it's the yes, but. Yes, but. It's not. It is, but it is not simultaneously. Wonderful philosophy.
Takže současná, ano, je to tak a zároveň trochu jinak.
And Srila Prabhupada speaks about this in Adi Lila 8 or 7 or 8, 76. Let me check. Not speculate. Yes, in the purport, this is the Harinama verse actually, so I think it's 7. Let's see, I have some memory left. Memory is definitely not increasing in Kali Yuga, we know that. Yes, 776. Thank you, my Lord. I got good memory for that. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, he directly addresses this point. So, he says, to chant the holy name of the Lord, one need not depend upon other paraphernalia. For one can immediately get all the desired results of linking with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It may therefore be questioned why there is a necessity for initiation. Right? You only have to chant. Or further spiritual activities in devotional service. Like, worshipping the deity, for example. Or reading books. We don't want to be jnanis. All these books there. Why waste time reading books if we should chant? So therefore, yes, this is the question, why there are other activities for one who engages in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. So now what is the answer? Wow, yes?
So that we are able to continue singing, chanting. I would also think that one needs to be ready, we're not Haridas Thakur to be able just to chant.
That gets to it, yes.
Musíme toho být schopni, že nejsme jako Haridas Thakur, který pořád nemuspívá.
Yes, so the answer is, Prabhupada's answer, that although it is correct that one who fully engages in chanting the holy name need not depend upon the process of initiation, that's one thing. Or any of these other activities that we do. Generally, a devotee is addicted to many abominable material habits. Due to material contamination from his previous life. In order to get quick relief from all these contaminations, it is required to engage in the worship of the Lord in the temple. And Prabhupada continues saying very strongly, the worship of the deity in the temple is essential to reduce one's restlessness due to the contaminations of conditioned life. And he says, yes, Srila Rupa Goswami has described that the holy name of the Lord can be chanted by liberated souls. Prabhupada says, but almost all the souls we have to initiate are conditioned. So there may be some liberated soul somewhere, but they're very rare. Yes. And he says that's the experience. This is written in 74 more or less. So it is advised that one chant the holy name of the Lord without offenses.
No a tady někdy v roce 74-75 Prabhupada napsal, že mělo by se zpívat svaté jméno bez přestupků.
And according to the regulative principles, which means these four that we avoid.
A za dodržování 4 zásad, kterým se vyhýbáme. Yet,
Due to their past habits, they, the devotees, violate these rules and regulations.
No ale říká, ale oddaní kvůli dřívějším zvykům tato pravidla porušují.
So therefore, it is essential to engage also in other activities besides chanting.
Proto je důležité se věnovat i dalším činnostem, kromě zpívání.
Because, and that's also here in that same section of Chaitanya Charitamrita, you can go on chanting like that with offense for millions of years and you will not get the result.
V téhle stejné sekci Chaitanya Charitamrita se píše s přestupky, můžete zpívat miliony životů nebo leta, nedostanete výsledek.
So therefore this preaching that some do, we just have to chant, we don't have to do anything else, it's just wrong.
Takže tohle kázání, někteří tak mluví, že stačí jenom zpívat a nemusíme dělat nic jiného, tak to není dobře.
And I dare to say you come to wrong conclusions like that because you don't read Prabhupada's books.
Bych se považoval první, že k takovým milným závěrům docházíte, protože nečtete Prabhupadovu knížku.
Or it would be worse if you have read it but you reject it.
Nebo co by bylo ještě horší, že jste to sice četli, ale zavrhli jste to.
That is a very dangerous tendency that some things we like and some things we don't like.
Jsou ty tendence, že něco se nám líbí, něco ne.
There are many things we may not like.
Hodně věcí se nám možná nelíbí.
That's another thing we can talk about, what's the reason for weakness.
To je zase další, o čem můžeme mluvit, co jsou důvody slabosti.
In Bhagavad Gita we find in the very beginning Krishna chastises Arjuna for weakness.
V Bhagavad Gita hned na začátku Krishna kára Arjunu za jeho slabost.
You remember the word that is used? Huh? No. It's weakness of the heart.
Kripa.
Hridaya Gauravani.
Je slabost srdce.
Which later comes in later. And we also find in Harinam Chitana. It's one of these anartas, the clouds that don't allow you to chant properly. So the weakness of the heart, there are different, actually there are generally four, as described in Harinam Chintamani, four main weaknesses of the heart. And somebody remembers maybe or has read it or knows? No? Well, one is the one we just now talked about. It's, the attachment, too much inclination to things that have nothing to do with Krishna.
Jednou z nich je silná připoutanost k něčemu, co nemá nic společného s Krishnou.
So therefore, yes, we may read Prabhupada's books and then he says certain things we don't like because we are attached to those things.
Takže možná čteme Prabhupadovu knížky a on říká něco, co se nám nelíbí, protože právě k tomu jsme připoutaní.
What's the main topic we don't like to hear about?
Co je hlavní téma, o kterém neradí slyšíme?
Yes, related to that.
Last.
Huh? Yeah, no illicit sex.
Nedovolený sex.
Please, don't be so fanatical.
Nebuďte takový fanatici.
So then that's one, attachment, and that's one thing, attachment to so many trifling, actually it's called trifling things. That means they're not very important, but we're attached to them.
Vlastně těžnosti zanedbatelné věci, které nejsou důležité, ale jsme k ním připoutaní.
Then another weakness of heart is dishonesty.
Další slabost srdce je nepoctivost.
Pretense.
Přetvářka.
So, how does that manifest?
Jak se to projevuje?
it's the opposite. Actually, Krishna mentions, or in Bhagavatam it is mentioned many times, the word Satan. Satan means like Srinvatam, Swakata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Hridaya Bhakstavadami, Vidunoti, Surit, Satan. Krishna is the Surit, the well-wisher of a honest devotee, and he helps him to purify his heart.
Krishna je příznivec poctivého, oddaného a pomáhá mu očistit srdce.
Or in the very beginning, Nirmatsaranam Satan. What's the Bhagavatam for? For who? Who is free from envy and Satan, sincere, honest.
Na začátku Bhagavatamu, že je určený pro ty, kdo jsou prostí závisti a kdo jsou poctiví.
Yeah. Projita Kaitava, this tendency to deviate, to not do it's just kicked out. Bhagavatam does not want to do. Okay. I'm the reason that this is. I think it's just because it's too much treble and too high volume, that's all. Just take out the treble a little bit, then you don't get feedback.
Treble, nějaký výšky stánu.
The high frequencies. Anyway, so that's definitely a weakness of heart. Envy of someone else's progress, that's also called a weakness of heart.
Slabostí srdce je taky závidět někomu jeho poklad.
And the desire for position and fame.
Postavení a slávy.
So it's quite a list. It's only 4 things, but probably if we are honest, we may say, well, I got all 4 of those to some degree.
Jsou tady 4 věci, ale když budeme upřímní, tak řekneme, to já mám do nějaké míry vlastně každou z těch 4.
Everybody can make a secret list of little attachments to things that have nothing to do with Krishna, but I like it.
Když si může udělat tajný seznam věcí, které připoutaně, než bych vedl něco společného s Krishnou.
Well, the older ones may have heard in the very some time ago, 50 years ago. It's only rock and roll, but I like it. I know it's ridiculous, but I like it. And that you can apply to a lot of things. I know it's this and that, but I like it. And yes, being a little dishonest, insincere, and envious of, and have a desire to be recognized by others. It's very common.
To je velice běžné být trochu neupřímný, nepoctivý a závistivý a toužit po nějaké slávě.
Now it says in Harinam Chintamani that chanting quickly removes these anarthas from the heart.
Harinam Chintamani říká, že zpívání anarty rychle odstraňuje ze srdce.
But of course, it's easily said chanting removes, but then we have to see what type of chanting is it.
To se snadno řekne, ale musíme vidět, jaký druh zpívání to je.
I mean, really, we already got now the remedy. Huh? If we wonder how to get spiritual strength and how to get free from weakness, this is one way, the explanation.
Tady máme návod, jak to udělat, když se chci zbavit slabosti.
Or let's come back to what Prabhupada said several times this morning in the purport, which is also how to get strength. We didn't finish that. Yes, please the spiritual master and the predecessor acharyas, or say, our superiors, higher authority. We can just quickly, because it's not so much. I took out the quotes one after another. Let me see where we are here. Yes. So, first thing Prabhupada says, and we didn't read this because there was the verse with all the And these enemies, you can say, they are practically included in these four anarthas, in the weakness of the heart. They're related.
Dá se najít vztah každého z těch nepřátel k těm 4 anartám, slabostem srdce.
So that he says to make progress towards the goal, which is Svatagatam Vishnu, to come to Krishna.
Abychom dělali pokrok k cíli, což je Vishnu.
Which is our real self-interest. So now he says one must become very powerful in order to conquer these various hindrances or enemies. Yeah, without strength, how can you do it? It's not possible. It's not that they will just go away. This is sometimes somebody may think, I just continue what I'm doing and it will just disappear by itself. According to what we have learned today, no, you have to receive power, strength. Now it's true, if we continue the process without stopping, then we will receive power one way or another, but it may be very, very slow and very small quantities at a time.
Budeme pokračovat s procesem a nepřestaneme, tak dostaneme trvat dlouho a po malých dávkách.
Like chanting. Let's continue thinking about how to chant. Now, if chanting is really with offense, mainly, or most, yes, offensive chanting. Now the question is there any benefit? Is there or is there not? Yes, no? Why? If it's really offensive, how can it be? Now this question is asked in Jaiva Dharma. If somebody has read, he may remember, you are reading. Have you read this already?
Just now in
Aha, there it will come. One of the disciples asks his guru, he has explained the 10 offenses. Then the disciple becomes depressed. If you hear all these offenses and then, oh my God, there's no hope for me. So what's the hope?
What I remember from there is what he mentions, that if the offenses are unintentional, then you are like practically on a nama path platform, and you're on a clearing.
Well, what he said, what I remember, that this is more modern. I'm not sure about the unintentional. Maybe you're right.
Like there is this discussion.
Yeah, but he says, because yes, there's offensive chanting, but once in a while it's namabhasa. Just by good fortune, you're not committing offenses when you're chanting sometimes. So, let's say 99% of the time you chant, it's offensive. Or even 99.99%. But there's 1 or whatever, 0.0, just something is not offensive. Now that is put into the bank account, the spiritual credit. And it does not go away. It's never destroyed. So then you continue chanting 100% offensive, and then again once in a while you get this little 101% of credit. Boom, 1 cent more. Whatever do you have, Florence? No.
We used to have, how do you?
One small coin you go into the bank.
Prostě jednou za čas nějaká ta setina procenta bez přestupku se uloží na konto zase.
So then after many lifetimes of chanting like that, that's what it really means, not in one life.
Po mnoha životech takového zpívání, to není za jeden život.
Then you're making progress.
Děláme pokrok.
So the idea is that we should avoid these offenses.
Bychom se těm přestupům měli vyhýbat.
And then this will take place, what is it explained here, that the holy name will purify the heart.
To stane, že svaté jméno bude očišťovat srdce.
But let's go back to these quotes. Yes, if one satisfies the pure devotee, here Prabhupada talks about the spiritual master, he's very merciful, and then by satisfying him, the devotee gets strength from the Supreme Lord.
Uspokojit čistého daného duchovního učitele, tak tím těžko dostane jeho milost.
And he repeats the same point in other words. You must first please the spiritual master, and then automatically, in this way, Krishna is pleased, and one gets strength.
Potěší duchovního učitele, tak Krishna to potěší a dá si.
If one seriously desires to return home, that was one of the first things. Do we really want to have success? Then one must become strong enough by pleasing the spiritual master. And then again, one must get in touch with the bona fide spiritual master. And now Prabhupada adds something important. By his mercy and instructions, one gets strength. Because it sounds all very nice. You get, yes, by satisfying, you get, he's very merciful, then you get strength. Sometimes, and today it's happening, there's some so-called gurus, they will call the disciple, you want to volunteer to get my mercy? Please come and get my mercy. Now you have to get the mercy, show it, you become ecstatic, fall over, start to cry or whatever. So that's what they actually do, they put the thumb on the forehead and transmit the mercy. That's definitely not our process. I've never heard or seen Prabhupada do this. Nor is there any mention in Chaitanya Charitamrita or Srimad Bhagavatam or any other scripture about our acharyas, transmitting their mercy this way. It's happening nowadays. You can see it on YouTube if you look for it. This is bogus. No. If following the instructions, that's their mercy. They're giving the right instructions for the time, for the people. That's where the mercy flows. It's not some sentimental thing, receiving. As they come to sannyasis, they come, we need your blessings. So what do you expect? I put my hand on your head, now you're blessed? No, it doesn't work like that. The blessings are coming through from the Supreme Lord, from the spiritual sun, the Supreme Sun. Not sunshine, the sun, the brilliant sun, Krishna, the Krishna sun, Surya San. Krishna, Surya San, he's like the Supreme Sun. So, yes, and Prabhupada gives this example of the wire that's connected to the powerhouse, then the current flows. That's the blessing. And because Krishna, he first of all instructs Brahma, and then Brahma instructs, Narada, and then Vyasadeva, and it's coming down. It's the same principle. There's no change. So if it says his instructions, the instructions of the spiritual master, finally they are the instructions of Krishna.
Že pokyny duchovního učitele jsou v konečném smyslu Krishnovy pokyny.
And then yes, you are connected and you get out, then you get strength and power, of course.
Potom jsme napojeni a dostaneme sílu.
We have another example in the first canto when Krishna left the planet.
Máme další příklad v prvním zpěvu, když
You remember that? And then Arjuna was supposed to protect Krishna's wives and then he was defeated by some coward men.
Arjuna měl chránit Krishnovi manželky, ale porazil nějací pastevci.
So there's this verse where he says, I have this very same Gandiva bow. So I have the same arrows, same chariot, where the same horses they are drawn, and I'm the same Arjuna. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them at a moment's notice have become null and void.
Bez Krishnovy přítomnosti si v okamžiku to všechno ztrácí sílu.
So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, all energies and powers are derived from the supreme source, Lord Krishna. And they act as long as he desires, and they cease to function as soon as he withdraws. So that's why, yes, in this purport today it was so important, this point, that we have, unless we receive power and blessing from Gaurita, Krishna, Balaram, it's not possible to get out of this, bondage. Because on our own, what strength do we have? Actually, we have nothing, zero. Even material strength is given by the Supreme Source. People don't realize that, they don't know that. They think by going to the gym, they become powerful, by their own exercise. But we understand, everything is connected to the Lord, and without His sanction, without His blessing, you can't do anything. You can't even lift what they do or whatever machine they use to build up their muscles. You can't even do that without the mercy of the Lord. This Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, he was the world champion in boxing. Probably he went to a gym, but they had something that he was practicing. So he was very much convinced that, look at me, I am the greatest. He said that. So that was true as long as Krishna gave him this sanctioned, this situation. There's a living entity, a jiva, who wants to become the world champion in boxing. Okay, for some reason you have some good karma, take it. I'll give you the blessing. But then, as it says here, this will act as long as Krishna desires. And it ceases to function as soon as he withdraws. Now, in the case of this Cassius Clay, well, I remember him as Cassius Clay, but then he changed, he became a Muslim, Muhammad Ali. It was withdrawn very soon later. He had Parkinson's somehow suddenly, and developed the disease of Parkinson. And this disease is debilitating, and you cannot even hold a cup of water.
No, ta ochora moje natolik, že ani člověk neudrží pohár s vodou.
So, you know, all these big muscles you had got, you know, for so much training and this and that, it was all taken away.
Všechny ty svaly, které byly výsledkem všeho toho cvičení, jenom o všechno přišel.
And that happens to no exception in the material world.
To se stává každému, není výjimky.
You may become the Vishwajit. Bali Maharaj became Vishwajit, the conqueror of the universe.
Bali Maharaj byl Vishwajit, kdo byl celý vesmír.
And then Vamanadeva took it all away. Hiranyakashipu conquered the heavenly planets and sat on Indra's throne. And then the Lord took it all away. And you can go on, have a long list of powerful persons in this world who are at the end nothing.
Můžeme pokračovat v dlouhém seznamu mocných osobností tohoto světa, který nakonec neměli nic.
So the devotee, he recognizes, he understands that whatever power I may have, whether it's physical or mental or even spiritual, it all comes from the Supreme Source.
Takový to uznává, chápe, že všechny síly, které mám, i fyzické, mentální, duchovní, pocházejí z nejvyššího zdroje.
Prabhupada gives this very simple example. All electrical energy are received from the powerhouse.
Prabhupada dává ten jednoduchý příklad. Veškerá elektrická energie přichází z elektránu.
And then, yes, you have all these lights shining brightly.
A potom máme všechny ta světla, které jasně svítí.
And as soon as the powerhouse stops supplying energy,
elektrárna přestane zdobát energie.
Then all these lights go pop, and it's dark.
Všechny světla zhasnou a bude tma.
We have experience of that also, like a blackout.
Máme nějaké zkušenosti, výpadky proudu.
It just happened recently in South America. You may have heard about it. All of Argentina, part of Paraguay and Brazil were, I mean, I think for many hours, maybe a day or two, without any electrical energy whatsoever.
Celá Argentina, část Paraguay, Brazílie byly mnoho hodin, možná úplně bez energie.
Chaos. Because we depend on electrical energy. Everything works with electrical energy. Yeah? No transportation, you know, the red lights don't work, the refrigerators don't work, or the heating system don't work because for them it's winter now. Tomorrow is like the 1st of January for them, it's really cold. Anyway, so, you know, we are depending on outside supply. And the spiritual energy also. Unless we get strength from Nitai Gaur, Krishna Balaram, we can't do anything. Yes. There's no way to come out of this dark well of ignorance. So, let's see. So we need strength, which means determination, conviction, dedication, my list, willpower, self-confidence, it's part of it. How do you say? Sane self-confidence, not false ego. Now we have one we didn't mention, fearlessness actually. We had fear as an enemy, but one of the symptoms of somebody who becomes Krishna conscious is fearlessness. Because that person is completely confident that Krishna will protect me. Rakshishyatiti Vishvasa. It's one of the items of surrender, of being completely convinced, Vishvasa, that he will protect me, Rakshyashkiti. Then yes, single-mindedness, steadiness also, vigor, vitality, health. So that's very favorable for making progress. And then if we are weak, lack of conviction, instability, lethargy, like laziness, idleness, hesitancy, then even in material life you cannot make much progress. I mean, these same principles apply to any condition of life, basically. And spiritual life is not an exception. It's not that because in material life this is a fact. Oh, spiritual life is different. So we heard about, yes, chanting, proper chanting definitely will help pleasing the spiritual master. Any other way we may be able to get strength? Well, yes, of course, but how can we, if we are not pure, and if we are not, we are in a condition of helplessness, then I'm giving you some hint already. Oh, yes, that's very important. I still think about something else, but
Reading books.
prayer. We have many examples in Shastra and of our acharyas. Yeah, I just had, I looked up in Chaitanya Charitamrita, at least I just have a few quotes from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. I have that, where he begs for strength to be able to describe the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. And he's addressing the Lord's associates, his devotees. And there's one song by Bhakti-yoga where he says, Bhakti-yoga Maga Shrivas Charane. He prays to the lotus feet of Shrivas, Thakur of the Panchatattva. Atmani Vedana Shakti, to get the strength of complete surrender. And that's because in that pastime, when Srivas Thakur's son died, he was completely, he didn't waver, he was strong in his faith in the Lord. This is called dissipation of grief, that section. Because imagine your son dies, or any very close relative, you are lamenting. And you may lose faith even sometimes, or lose determination. Then life becomes almost useless. People think like that. If I very much attached, or to my wife or husband or to a child, and they die, then suddenly it's like, yes, the world is empty. People say like, you are my life. I cannot live without you. So how many songs are there? You are my everything. and I cannot live without you. So then that object of your attachment disappears. So then, you become very much desperate and despondent and weak. Even materially weak. People then, they can't work, they can't do anything, just go in, maybe just lie down and sleep. or get drunk to just forget the misery. That's experience in the material world, right? Now, Srivas Thakur, he didn't react like that at all when this happened. Because in the house, it happened during the kirtan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And naturally, the mother and the other ladies in the house, they started to cry. And he started to preach to them, stop crying. Don't disturb, the chanting of the holy name of our Lord. So this is a whole story, and Bhakti-yoga Thakur then converted it, or how you say, presented it in like 14 songs. Shoka Shatana, dissipation of grief. How to get rid of grief. So then, in one of those songs, the conclusion, he begs, Bhakti-yoga Thakur was writing these poems, he begs Srivas Thakur, I want to get that strength from you, how to completely surrender, depend on the Lord. Or in Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, it's also basically a prayer to the devotee, to the pure devotee, the Vaishnava Thakura, to also confer strength. I can't even, without getting that strength on my own, I cannot chant properly. And therefore, yes, sadhu sangha, to be with devotees who are strong, that's the source of strength. If we are with people who are weak, we will become weak. Unless you are so strong that you can elevate the weak ones to become strong. That's like Srila Prabhupada can come alone to a whole country and everybody is weak spiritually. Zero. But by his association, he can make them strong. And anybody who follows in this line will have the same effect. There is one letter Prabhupada wrote to Satsvarupa Maharaj. So there he's expecting, because this is in 69, so they're very new devotees, all of them. But he is hoping that they will become also spiritually strong. And he says, and he's encouraging him, he says, if we are full with Krishna vitality, nice idea, you become full of Krishna vitality. And not, people want to have vitality by, vitamins and exercise and so many other things. No, we want Krishna vitality,
Chcemy Krishnę tam.
Then what will be the result?
Jaki bude potom výsledek?
Then wherever we go, the audience will be impregnated with Krishna consciousness.
Kamkoliv budeme, tak posluchači budou, prostě se na ně přenese vědomí Krišny.
And he gives the example of a man who has vitality. When he comes in contact with a woman, they can produce a child.
A mám příklad muže vitálního, plodného, který když přijde do styku se ženou, tak se narodí dítě.
Yeah, so that's possible. So we need that spiritual vitality.
Potřebujeme duchovní vitalitu.
And like this is the point of sadhu sangha. If we are in contact with those who have spiritual vitality, then we can acquire this.
A to můžeme získat, když jsme ve společnosti těch, kdo mají duchovní vitalitu.
Now there may be one question coming up. So why does it happen that although somebody may be in the association of spiritually vital persons, still they're not becoming spiritually strong?
Proč se taky může stát, že i když někdo má společnost duchovně vitálních osob, sám nezíská duchovní sílu?
Or let's give the same example. Srila Prabhupada went to many places and spoke to many persons, and many people heard him, but not everybody became a devotee. Now by the examples I gave, you can come immediately to the right conclusion. If you think about the man and the woman who produce a child, yes, the woman has to be fertile. If she's barren, the man can have so much vitality, like 10,000 elephants, there will be no child. So, yes, if we go to the audience, then whoever is fertile, they're ready to, when they get the impregnated, the vitality is like transmitted, then there will be a result.
Posluchači jsou plodní, tak když pro oplodnění, tak potom to může být výsledek.
So therefore, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jiva, a fortunate soul, when they come in contact with the devotee and Krishna in the heart, then there will be some, then the Bhaktilata beach is there and it will sprout.
Jedna požehnaná duše přijde do styku s raným Krišnou, tak dostane semínko bhakti a to vyklíčí.
So what's our time frame? 40 more minutes, that's a lot of minutes. I am exhausted, I don't know, all my knowledge I gave to you, now that's, it's bogus gurus say that, Now I'm empty, I'm collapsing, I'm empty. But no, it's not true. Actually, we become more and more enlightened the more we speak about Krishna. But I talked enough, almost 1 hour. Maybe now we want to hear realizations, questions. Yes, we already have 5 fingers up. Yes, 5. Please.
Regarding that fertility or to be Bhagavan, can you elaborate a little more, because that question comes naturally to the mind. Who is Bhagavan?
Who is Bhagavan?
How to become fortunate?
Oh, how do we become fortunate? So, please give us some answer. Yeah, I want to. Yes.
There's another example of fire and dry wood.
Yes. Yes.
So they can be fire, but if the wood is not dry, it will not be fire.
Yes, but the question is, how does the wood become dry? How it becomes fortunate?
One has to be eager to target it,
But how do you get there? I mean, it's definitely a valid question. How somebody becomes fortunate? Huh?
Sincere and serious.
Yeah, but how do you become? We always can go one step back, you know. How do we get there?
It's usually described about this Agyata Sukriti, that it
Yes.
starts by accumulating some minor positive.
Yes, that's one explanation we hear. Agyata Sukriti. Without Sukriti, normally it is said you cannot.
Je potřeba sukriti, prostě příznivé činnosti, když může být agyata, jako nevědomé.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we always go one step back, ultimately, and that's many times said, it's the causeless mercy of the devotee. And Krishna. That means there's no cause, there's no hetu. You know, it's not a reason that, oh yes, because I this and this, therefore I got the mercy. And therefore we have this example in this samsara, you know, the cloud showering its water, its rain. It showers without discrimination. It may fall even on water again, so what's the use of that? It falls on hard rock, there will be no result. Or it may fall on some soft, with vitality, not barren, land, earth. And then that combination will produce a plant. On some hard rock, you will not see a plant grow. And if sometimes we see that apparently from the rock some plant comes out, right? Why is that? There's a crack. It's not completely solid hard rock. Even on the street, you know, the asphalt, sometimes, yes, but why? Because it has cracks. So somehow this stone-like heart has the crack. So the devotee, yes, he will shower mercy, he will give teachings, he will chant the holy name like we do, we go out in the street, without discrimination. So one of the most powerful, besides the holy name of course, that people become fortunate by contacting a devotee without even wanting or knowing.
Získají to požehnání tím, že přijdou do styku s Vami, aniž by o tom třeba věděli.
Is prasadam. It's called prasadam. It's mercy.
To se říká prasada nebo milost.
It's so important. We cannot even imagine how important it is.
Si ani nemůžeme představit, jak je to důležité.
I always give the example. I will repeat it.
Vždycky dávám ten příklad.
Direct experience with Prabhupada.
Přímý zážitek s Prabhupádou.
2 times.
Dvakrát.
First time in 1972 in Amsterdam. We had arranged programs for Prabhupada to speak and give lecture public in the park, in the Vondel Park, in the hotel. And he came, he saw the situation, was hippie time, you know, people intoxicated and just useless basically. And he said, yes, these people are useless. They will not understand philosophy. So he told us, give them prasadam. So then maybe in the future, when it will act, the Agyata Sukriti, they don't know when they eat, they think, oh, it's some vegetarian food, it's very, I like it. If they're fortunate, they like it. If they're unfortunate, they will even reject prasad. Very rarely happens, but it does happen, doesn't it? Maybe amongst 1,000, maybe one, no.
A jeden z tisíce řekne, já tohle nechci.
Because if the mentality is very demoniac,
A někdo hodně démonickou mentalitu.
they know this is dangerous stuff.
Tohle to je nebezpečné.
If I contact that, then my nature will change to something I don't want.
Když s tímhle tím přijdu do styku, tak se moje povaha změní k něčemu, co já nechci.
Like if you're, creature of the night, you like darkness.
Má někdo rád tmu,
You're dressing always all in black, like
rád černém oblečení.
black everything. In your home, the walls are painted black. Painted black.
Stěny napřené na černé.
Sorry, these are old memories. So then, if light comes, oh no,
Pak se měli světlo, ne, to
this is, we don't like any light.
nechcem žádné světlo.
So they know this, whatever they offer me, this is.
Oni ví, když jim nabízíme prasáda, ne, tohle ne.
Better avoid it. I don't want to become enlightened.
Já nechci nějaké osvícení.
But generally, that's the way people get prasadam without knowing, causeless, and it's causelessly distributed to anybody. We don't ask if they're qualified or not qualified.
Dostávají prasádam bez rozlišování, se neptáme, kdo je kvalifikovaný, kdo ne.
And then in time, they may become attracted to, or willing to have a book, to read it, and become inquisitive.
Časem jim může přitahovat to, že by si vzali knížku, přečetli a byli pozitivní.
Yeah, so to become Bhagavan, fortunate, that's practically the only way for a soul lost in the material world.
Prakticky jediná možnost pro duši ztracenou v hmotném světě.
If devotees wouldn't come, the Lord wouldn't come, there's no way.
Kdyby oddaní nepřicházeli, Pán kdyby nepřicházel, tak není jiný způsob.
So therefore the Lord comes from time to time and he sends his representatives just for that purpose.
Pán čas od času přichází a posílá své představitele za tím účelem.
And people will become fortunate, it's just a matter of time. And sometimes we can't see immediately the result, of course.
No, lidi budou časem požehnaní tím způsobem, někdy uvidíme ty výsledky.
And then there's another aspect which is a little delicate, but we have to say it,
Ještě jeden takový delikátnější aspekt.
that the potency also depends, as we have seen here, Prabhupada says, he wants his disciples, in this case, they should become qualified, so when they go to an audience, the audience will be impregnated because we are full of Krishna vitality.
Opravdu ano, jsou v tom dopise, že posluchači budou oplodnění tím poznáním, když budeme mít dostatek Krishnovy vitality.
So that, let's think about it, this Krishna vitality can be more or less, right?
Krishnovy vitality může být víc nebo méně.
It's like any kind of power or strength, there can be more or less.
Jakákoliv jiná síla, schopnost.
Well, therefore he said full of Krishna vitality, not just 1% of 100. So therefore, prasadam also has to be prasadam, not just vegetarian food. It has to be impregnated with Krishna vitality. And how does it become like that? When it is offered with bhakti. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Then I eat, otherwise I don't eat. And if Krishna doesn't eat, then it doesn't become full of Krishna vitality. Very simple logic. So chanting the same. If the chanting party is composed of people who practically all chant with offense, then what will be the result?
Zpěvácká skupina se stává jenom z těch, kdo zpívají z přestupky, tak jaké to budou mít výsledky.
As Prabhupada said, chanting, but they don't follow the principles, or they don't they don't follow the instructions, basically, then what kind of chanting will it be?
Prabhupada říká, zpívají, ale nedodržují principy, následují pokyny, tak co to bude za zpívání.
It may even sound very professional, good musicians.
Může to i znít profesionálně, dobří muzikanti.
That's one of the problems, one of the tricks of Maya. Just because somebody is a good musician doesn't mean he should lead a kirtan.
Tak jeden z triků Máji, že jenom, že je někdo dobrý muzikant, to neznamená, že by měl vést kirtan.
It's normally the criterion for inviting kirtaniyas.
To je to kritérium pro to, jaké kirtany jak pozvat.
Are they expert musicians?
Jsou to dobří muzikanti.
And, well, they may be. I mean, we have a lot of examples in the material world of very expert musicians.
Máme v hmotném světě příklady mnoha dobrých muzikantů.
Even in old age, they're still prancing on the stage,
Co už jsou staří a pořád ještě skáčou po pódiu.
If you think about it, it's unbelievable how Maya is so strong.
To je neuvěřitelné, jak je ta Mája silná.
I mean, there's this leader of one of the greatest rock bands in the world who just had a heart valve operation.
Operovali už nějakou srdeční blánu, jeden vedoucí nejznámější slavné skupiny rockové.
I mean, he will be 77 this year.
To bude 77.
And after the operation, then they have a picture of him being alone in like a gym.
Obrázek po té operaci byl sám někde v tělocvičně.
Practicing his dance steps, and doing the gestures, how to get the audience all excited and bliss, so-called bliss.
Cvičuje taneční kroky a dělá gesta, aby ta obecenstvo bylo vlažené.
And then there is the first concert, finally, just a month ago or something, a few weeks ago.
Pár měsící nebo týdny konečně došlo i na koncert.
And there he is, running out to the audience with his microphone and what is this? I mean, this kind of chanting will not help anybody.
Běží v obecenstvu s tím mikrofonem, ale takové zpívání nikomu nepomůže.
I know it's only rock and roll, but I like it. So, no, unless there's Krishna vitality, then chanting will be some entertainment, it will be nice, and there may be some result, because sometimes there may be namabhasa.
Přestupky to zpívání může být pěkné, může to být občas nějaký moment námabhasa.
So therefore, yes, in order to spread Krishna consciousness, we should make sure that prasadam is prasadam and the chanting is as pure as possible.
Musíme zajistit, aby prasadam bylo prasadam a zpívání bylo co nejčistší.
Sorry for anybody being offended, but that's the truth.
Omlouvám, jestli to někoho se dotklo, ale tak to je.
Okay, don't ask any controversial questions, please.
Žádnou kontroverzní otázku.
The spoke about the mercy of Guru Krishna.
Oh yes, you can have the microphone. Mercy of Guru and Krishna, yes. There's a switch.
So we spoke about the mercy of Guru and Krishna, and my question is that how we can know or to which extent we can realize the mercy of Guru and Krishna, because in some way we can know, okay, we are practicing, we can overcome many difficulties, but with some things we can have real problems. There can be just, and it doesn't mean that we doesn't have any mercy of Krishna, but in some ways we have some problems, and other things are just very easy for us. So, the question is the things which we have like problems.
There may be also the mercy of Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it. Ja sa zapýtal, že my akože pri tom praktikovaní vedomí Krišny môžeme mať akože milosť Krišnu, hej, a môžeme to vnímať a niektoré veci prekonávame veľmi ľahko, ale niektoré veci proste sú strašne ťažko prekonateľné, hej. A že počuť má vedel o tom ako niečo povedať.
I mean, I would dare to say, you know.
Já bych se považil říct, sám víš.
Yeah, if you are Satan, if you're honest,
Poctivý.
Krishna will, I mean, he's in our heart.
Když mají v našem srdci.
So let's say, maybe, you know, the guru is not present, so you cannot ask. So how do I know that Prabhupada is pleased with what I
Guru
do?
není přítomný, tak jak jsem říkal, tak jestli jsem potěšil Prabhupada.
Yes, or that Krishna is pleased with, you know.
Protože těším Krišnu.
But if we just really try to follow the instructions,
Pokud se snažíme následovat pokyny,
then I think it's, you know, we know, we feel, it's perceivable that, you know, that's
sami víme, dá se to vnímat a cítit.
and the result will be that you also will be pleased.
Výsledkem bude, že i tebe samotného to bude těšit.
Brahma Bhuta Prasana Atma. Or Evan Prasana Manaso. The result of practicing properly will be that you become happy.
Výsledkem správného praktikování je, že jsi sám šťastný.
If you are depressed or unhappy in your devotional life, that means you're not properly.
Pokud nejsi šťastný a máš nějaké deprese v oddanou světě, tak to znamená, že to neděláš dobře.
It's actually relatively simple
To je
to understand.
jednoduché chápat.
You know, we have these 5 verses in the 2nd chapter, beginning with Srimatan,
Těch 5 veršů ve druhé kapitole prvního zpěvu s
and that
Šrimatan.
describe that process.
To je celý proces popsaný.
And it's scientific.
A je to vědecké.
It's for every single person who acts like that, the result will be the same.
Když kdokoliv bude jednat příslušným způsobem, tak to bude mít stejný výsledek.
Like in chemistry, you know, there are certain experiments.
To jsou nějaké pokusy v chemii.
Whoever does them correctly as described, they will get the same result.
Kdo je udělá přesně podle návodu, tak získá stejný výsledek.
It's not that, oh, sometimes it's like this and sometimes it's like that. If you combine hydrogen and or oxygen in certain ways, you get water.
Že někdy to dopadne tak, někdy jinak. Prostě když se sloučí vodík s kyslíkem v určitém poměru, tak z toho bude voda.
That somebody somehow or other gets, you know, a lump of earth or some fire. No, you get water.
Takže pro někoho z toho bude hrouda hlíny nebo nějaký oheň, ale budete mít vodu.
So if Srinvatam Svakata Krishna, if that is being done, that's actually what you have to do. Then there will be Rirayantakstu Abhadrani Vidunoti. The inauspicious things in the heart will disappear.
Když náležitě zpíváme, nás nasloucháme, tak zmizí nepříznivé věci ze srdce.
It's scientific, It's not that for some yes and for others no. No, for everybody.
To je vědecké, ne, že by to platilo pro někoho ne, že platí pro všechny.
But again, then we have to see the fine print. You know the fine print in the contract? It's the small letters, we hardly can read. And it's important, People don't read it, but it's very important. If you don't read it, you get into trouble. So Srinvatam, Srila Prabhupada translates as somebody who is eager to hear. Not just hearing, you know, okay, I hear. That's not sufficient. One has to be eager. Then there will be the result that the inauspicious things in the heart will be cleared by Krishna's mercy, because he will act.
Výsledkem bude, že nepříznivé věci zmizí díky Krišnově milosti, která bude působit.
Like another verse Prabhupada mentions very often is this Bhakti Pareshanu Bhavo Virakti Yatra, what is it? Virakti Anyatra. 3 results when you properly practice Krishna consciousness. That's a word. Now my memory is not good enough. It's the process of surrender. If you do that properly. Prapadyamanasya. Yeah, if you practice properly, then there will be 3 results. Bhakti, that is devotion, will develop. Para Isha Anubhava, a perception of the presence of the Lord in your life. And Virakti, you lose interest in material life. So that's the test. And when he mentions this verse, he says, if you want to know whether you make progress or no, nobody has to tell you. You will know. This is the test. And he says it's like eating, now there will be soon prasadam, right? We are all hungry. Now, the process of eating, there will be 3 things. There will be some taste, you like it. Hopefully. It's nutritious, you will get strength. And your hunger will go away. After some time, you said, no more, I'm satisfied. Now, if somebody says, yes, I'm eating and eating and eating, but I don't get strength and I'm still hungry, then the question is, what are you eating? Maybe it's all junk food. For some reason it's called junk food. I mean, it's more junk than food. So if you eat junk food, then you cannot expect that you get the desired result. That's actually somebody who only eats junk food. He will become sick very soon. So the idea is, yes, if you're practicing properly the prapadyamanasya, the process of surrendering and following what was mentioned, the following the instructions of the spiritual master, then these results will come without any doubt. So then Bhagavatam continues, Nashta Prayesha Abhadreshu, all these abhadras, these inauspicious things, they will practically be gone almost to zero, almost. And there may be some residues, because it's a material world. 100% is practically impossible. But it's so little residue, it will have no negative effect. Therefore, tararajastamo bhava, kama loba rayashaye. Then you will know, kama and loba will become practically zero. And then evang prasana manaso, then you will become joyful. Your mind becomes illuminated. So it's not so difficult to know, then that means you have received the mercy. Right? Because it doesn't depend on us. We may say, yes, it's scientific, of course, it's true. For everybody who does it correctly, it will happen. But we shouldn't misunderstand that. It's not mechanical process.
Zároveň bychom neměli si milně myslet, že to je mechanický proces.
There's ultimately is always the Supreme Personality of Godhead there to sanction, and he's very kind, Bhakti-yoga. So when he sees somebody doing the right thing, he'll give the result.
Konečný faktor je nejvyšší Pán si dát své svolení, ale Bhakti-yoga, když se snaží dát výsledek.
Therefore he says in Bhagavad, you just surrender unto me, I'll protect you, don't worry, it's for sure.
Když tam říkal Bhagavad, jenom se mi odezdeje, já tě ochráním, neboj se, to je jisté.
One cannot say, oh yes, I surrendered, but just see the result, Here I am, miserable, and this is all bogus. No.
Můžeme říkat, já jsem se odezdal a nic podat, kdyby mizerně, takže to je všechno falešné.
If you actually surrender, then Krishna definitely will protect you. There's no doubt about it.
Když se skutečně odezdáš, tak tě Krishna určitě ochrání, to není pochyb.
And if the surrender is some imagination, that's something else.
Pokud to bude jen rozdanost představách, to je něco jiného.
So if somebody really thinks that I've been practicing this Krishna consciousness for 30 years and I'm still miserable, then you better find out why.
Takže jestli někdo si říká, no já už to praktikuju 30 let a pořád mě bídně, tak musíme zjistit proč.
Where does the practice fail? What do I do wrong?
Co dělám špatně?
Because if you would have done it right, then you would have become joyful. You cannot be in a depression state, committing suicide almost. Anyway, so I think it's, we know when you do the right thing and receive the mercy. Just as we know when we do the wrong thing. We know. So that's my understanding. Somebody wants to add something or correct it, you're welcome. But based on, Shastra, as I try to, bring some imaginative idea. Yeah, we should be able to, everything is there in Srila Prabhupada's books, no doubt about it. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gaura Nitai Gauravani ki jai.